Welcome back, TCG Squad. We're back again with some more Star Wars Unlimited Twilight of the Republic spoilers. This is part 2 of continuation of the week 2 spoilers. We'll have one more part after this, but let's go ahead and get started. First up, we have Count Dooku. Count Dooku is a command villainy leader. His action says, play a separatist card from your hand against exploit 1. Epic action, if you control 7 or more resources, deploy this leader. On the leader unit side, he is a 7 cost, he has 5 attack and 9 defense, and says overwhelm. He also says on attack, the next separatist card you play this phase gains exploit 3. So what do I think? I actually like Count Dooku. Sounds like with this new set, that separatist keyword is going to be one of the keywords for the set. So if you want to play Count Dooku, your whole strategy is to build a deck with a bunch of separatist cards. The cool thing about it is that it gains exploit 1, so it could be something like where you go play that card. Maybe you can attack with the unit, it's a lower unit, you want to get rid of it. This will give you the ability to put that exploit. So let's say you had a token created, a droid token, which is a 1/1. And you attack that turn. That token is probably not good for you anymore, but let's say you're at a bind. Remember, exploit 1 reduces the cost by 2 based on the number of exploit you can. So in this Count Dooku's ability, you can only reduce a card cost by 2. But imagine having a 5 resource card on turn 3. So that means you can tap Count Dooku. Now you get to play that 5 resource cost card for 3 resources because of exploit. Now, I think that's huge. So, for the current meta, think about Han, young Han 2. You're doing damage to reduce the cost. This is very similar. You're giving a unit exploit, and now you can reduce the cost by killing a unit. So, the whole goal is going to be killing ground units. Now, what's really good about Dooku is, first of all, he's tanky. 9 defense is a lot, which I like. But the big thing on his side is obviously he has overwhelm. That's always a good keyword in the game. But on attack, the next separatist card you play, this phase gains exploit 3. So if you have droids on the field that somehow you created from attacking, then you deploy Count Dooku, and then you attack with Count Dooku and you want to kill 3 of those droids so you can get exploit 3, that means you could play a 6 resource card as long as it's separatist for free. That is crazy. Or if you have a 9 resource cost card, you're going to give it exploit 3, and then now it's going to end up costing you 3. So the options are wide open when you have Count Dooku. Because he's so tanky, your opponent's probably going to really want to take out Count Dooku, because giving something on attack exploit 3 is crazy for a card. That is wild good. I think Count Dooku is a very good card. He is only a common card. I think he'll be fun to draft with, but I can't wait to see his showcase card. This is probably one of the showcase cards I'm looking forward to. And between Maul and Count Dooku, these are going to probably be the first 2 leaders I play when the new set drops. Next up, we have Wartime Trade Official. This is a 2-cost ground unit. His aspects are vigilance and heroism. Has a 1 attack and 3 defense, and it says when defeated, create a battle droid token. So what do I think? Honestly, I don't think this card is that great. 1/3 for 2 resources. I tend to be more of an aggro player, so I like to see 3/1 or 3/2, something like that. It's okay. I guess again, in the whole theme of this game, we're going to be creating tokens. Since this is a villainy card, we're going to be creating a droid token. And again, the droid token's a 1/1. I don't think this card is that great. It's just a very normal, below par card. I don't think there's nothing great about it. I'd rather play something else that could probably do a little bit more damage. That way you can maybe trade or get more value, do more damage to your opponent. Next up, we have Wartime Profiteering. This is a 1-cost event. His aspects are cunning and villainy. It says, look at the cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of units that were defeated this phase. Draw 1 and put the others on the bottom of your deck in a random order. This card is pretty sweet. So think about the whole archetype of this game or this set. We're going to be wanting to create tokens, and then we're going to use those tokens to gain some type of ability. So for the heroism side, you're going to use coordinate, and then for the villainy side, we're going to use exploit. So let's imagine you had 3 or 4 tokens that you destroyed or were defeated this phase, and you really were fishing for some card. You can go ahead and use Wartime Profiter. So if you lost 4 tokens that turn plus 1 unit, that's 5. You can draw 5 cards, and maybe you'll get to that card that you want. For 1 cost, in an uncommon, I don't think this is a bad card. I think it's pretty decent, especially if there's going to be a strategy where you could go super wide, where we're talking about someone's going to end up building like 8 or 9 droids, and they're all swinging for 1 damage each, and then they're going to try to exploit them and then bring out big units. This is a way you can help get that unit that you need to go and get your hand ready for the next round. This is not bad. I think it's a decent card. Next up, we have Vanguard Droid Bomber. This is a 2-cost space unit. Its aspects are aggression. It has 2 attack and 2 defense. And it says, when played, if you control another separatist unit, deal 2 damage to an enemy base. Hey, I love cards like this. It's very straightforward. It's 2/2. This could be like card you obviously want to play around resource 3, because you ideally want to play your first 2-cost unit on resource 2 or round 1, and then when you go to round 2, you can play this card after you're attacked, obviously, right? You want to do some damage. You play this. Now if you drop the 2 life or 3 life unit, now you did 3 damage to the base, plus dropping this one, you're doing an additional 2. Now you have 5 damage on your opponent's base. And then if you have a 1-cost event or something like that, you can go ahead and use that. Or if you have a leader that has a 1 resource cost, you can go ahead and maybe put like Tarkin, put an experience counter on this guy. There's multiple options you can do, right? I think this is a very solid card for 2/2. It does exactly what I want it to do. And the cool thing about it, this is not limited to villainy or heroism. So both hero and dark side decks can use it. So I think this is a very good card. 0 complaints. I'm definitely going to be using this card in my double red Maul deck. Next up, we have Heavy. This is a 4-cost ground unit. Its aspects are aggression. It's a 4/4. It has coordinate raid 2. And it says, when defeated, deal 1 damage to each ground unit. And just to recap, coordinate means while you control 3 or more units, including that unit itself, it gains that keyword. So in this case, it gains raid 2. For 4 costs, and you're seeing a 4/4, that's great to me. And then if you happen to have all the units on the field, boom, you get raid 2 and you can attack for 6. Awesome. I think this is really good. But what I think is really awesome about this card, it's when it's defeated. It says when defeated, you're gonna do 1 damage to each ground unit. So imagine if your opponent had 4 or 5 tokens of battle droids. Well, guess what? You want to kill it because they're gonna come in and just do some damage, and you don't want them to do that damage. Maybe you can ECL this guy out. You're gonna have the coordinate. Now you get raid 2. You're gonna swing into something very big that they may have out. It's gonna die. You're gonna trade. When defeated, gets triggered, and you wipe out the 4 or 5 droids that your opponent has. That's pretty sweet. The same thing applies, because keep in mind, this card is, you can play it both on heroism and villainy. There is no additional aspect to it. So that means if your opponent has multiple clone troopers and they were down to 1 health each, you can go bring this guy and have him at ECL or combat into another larger unit, die, and then take out all of your opponent's additional tokens or anything that's been weakened at that state. So for an uncommon, I think this is a good card. I think we're going to see this be used. I'm curious to see if we're going to see this more on the heroism side or villainy side as a double red deck. Since I'm going to probably create that first, I'm probably going to slot this guy in as a 4 cost. I think he'll also be very good in a limited environment as well, because, yeah, raid 2 is awesome. Next up, we have Grenade Strike. This is a 2-cost event. Its aspects are aggression, and it says deal 2 damage to a unit. You may deal 1 damage to another unit in the same arena. Pretty straightforward, but what's really cool is that you can use Grenade Strike on space. So you're going to do 2 damage to a space unit, and then you can do 1 damage to another space unit because that's in the same arena. I think then The target intent for this is actually for ground units, but I just want to point out that you can do that for space. This obviously is geared to help wipe out all the tokens. You can do 2 damage to a regular unit and then do 1 damage to a token. In this case, it could have been a battle droid, or if you're going against the clones tokens, you can do 2 damage to kill one, and let's say one of the clone tokens had 1 damage. Now you can do 1 damage to take out 2 units. So the idea is trying to take out 2 units for 2 resources. You're paying 2 resources to do 3 damage. I don't think that's a bad cost. I think it's pretty decent. I think this is a very good card. I'm probably going to slot this in my double red deck just to see how it works. Next up, we have Droid Commando. This is a 3-cost ground unit. Its aspects are command and villainy. It has 4 attack and 3 defense, and it says, while you control another separatist unit, this unit gains ambush. So right off the back, 4 damage for 3 resources, I think is great. And keep in mind, this is a 3 resource card. So if you drew a separatist in your opening hand for your 2 resource cost play, you're gonna essentially can attack whatever damage it does, and then whatever your opponent brings out, let's say they created a token, you just want to wipe it out. Well, he has 3 health. Remember, tokens either gonna have, if they're clone troopers, they're gonna have 2 or 2 health, or if they're droid, they're gonna have 1 health. This guy, you can literally play him. You already have you fulfill the separatist unit condition. It's gonna gain ambush. You do 4 damage, take out one of those tokens. I think part of this set is going to be trying to control the board state even more, because it sounds like, depending, I don't know if this may be true, but there might be a way to actually really ramp up them tokens. For this villainy card, I think is great. It's a common card as well, so it's going to be pretty good. I have nothing negative to say. These are the type of cards I like to see. And lastly, we have Droid Manufactury. This is a command rare base. I want to point out, this is the first rail base now that has 24 health. And it says, when you deploy a leader, create 2 battle droid tokens. For 24 health, you're losing 6 health. And it says, when you deploy a battle, your leader. So let's think about Count Dooku. We deploy Count Dooku. We create 2 battle droid tokens. If we have an exploit card, we have 2 potential targets that we can use to blow up. That's going to reduce our cost of that card by 4. Now, Dooku on attack gives you exploit 3, so you can take out something out in the field. I don't know if it's that good. From what I can tell right now, giving up 6 life to create 2 battle droid tokens, I don't think it's good enough. I don't think it's good enough at all. I think you're giving up that 6 health it's a lot. I'd rather feel more comfortable with a 30 health base. That's just me, but I'm pretty sure someone's going to figure out how to properly utilize the deployment of the leader to create these battle droid tokens. I just don't see it right now. And with that being said, let me know in the comments if you have an idea of how this is going to work. Put it in the comments and let me know, because right now I don't think this rare base is that good, and that's just my opinion. I hope I'm wrong, because it would be awesome to pump out a leader and you get some droid tokens that come out with you, but I don't know if it's worth losing the 6 life. Alright guys, those were all the spoilers for week 2 part 2. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and if you really enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll be providing any kind of spoilers that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. I'll be making videos and discussing them about this. And then I also will be creating any kind of budget decks. I will be releasing budget decks typically on Mondays. And then we are also going to be covering One Piece on Wednesdays. And then we'll touch on Flesh and Blood and Lorcana. Let me go ahead and thank you for your time. Have a good day. Peace.